It's New Year's Eve for many people watching this right now. A time that is meant to be fresh starts, hope, and moving forward. But for a growing number of Goliath Ventures investors, this new year has landed differently. Payments stopped, answers disappeared. And the realization set in that what was sold as a sophisticated, insured investment firm may have never existed in the way it was claimed. In this video, I'm taking you back to the very beginning. Before contracts, before promises of liquidity pools and guaranteed returns, before the branding, the events, and the penthouses. We're going to talk about things you were never told. The abandoned projects, the recycled narratives, the people who are now quietly distancing themselves. And one question that cuts through everything. If this was fully insured, why hasn't a single insurance claim been made? This investigation is built on a whistleblower's testimony, archived material, corporate filings, and direct correspondence with people named in the story. Some have responded, most didn't. The silence doesn't prove guilt, but it does leave the record uncontested. What emerges is not the story of a business that failed. It is the story of an operation that relied on proximity. I think that word's correct.
Proximity.
Oh, close. Social proof and belief instead of evidence. Belief instead of evidence. This part matters the most. This doesn't end with a video. Fires don't spread on their own. They need a spark. In the description of this video, there is a link showing you exactly how to report your losses connected to Goliath Ventures Inc. When enough people come forward, regulators are forced to act. Accounts can be frozen, even though we've frozen a few ourselves. Records can be compiled. The window to preserve that money still exists, and it doesn't stay open forever. This isn't about refuge, it's about accountability, and it starts here. Now, before I do my videos, I always get a bit nervous, and I'm sitting here thinking, how am I going to click go? What am I going to say? Am I in the right frame of mind? Well, Happy New Year to you. It is 2026, January the 1st. Now, I've already been out. I do park run in the mornings, and I've been out for a 5K run, and that helps get me in the right mindset before I sit down and deliver what I have for you today. 20 minutes before I went live, I received a copyright strike on one of the videos that I've done previously, about 2 months ago, from Goliath Ventures. They are still trying to stop me from preaching the truth, exposing what they've really been up to. This video that you're about to see, well, this blog that we're about to go through, has actually got about 6 or 7 people involved in the history of Goliath Ventures. We have received correspondence from people. They are trying to distance themselves. That will be highlighted in the video. But it does actually answer a lot of questions, even questions that I didn't have. I received this intel probably about 6-7 days ago, and I've been sitting here trying to put it together in an article where I think it will answer some some questions that maybe you don't know about. I'm just going to try and do something technical, and I just stuffed that up, so I'll fix that up. Two things. We've created a page on our blog series. There's actually 26 blogs on the Goliath Ventures Inc. It's probably the most videos and most blogs I've produced on exposing a large-scale Ponzi scheme and scam, and that's exactly what Goliath Ventures is. They've also tried to lodge a lawsuit against me. People are saying to me that you've been served. I have not been served. They have set up a lawsuit in Florida. They don't have any jurisdiction on me whatsoever. I've not been served by any New Zealand lawyer, and to do that, they would have to lodge a lawsuit in the New Zealand High Court. They have not done that. Out of courtesy, we have actually filed a motion to dismiss. And if you go to Orange County, you can see that they've tried to instigate a lawsuit against me. Goliath Ventures has also offered me $150,000 if I give a statement saying that my information was given to me by someone who was feeding the project, and they also asked me to delete all my videos. This is what this company does. As I said 20 minutes before I went live in this video, they have done a copyright strike. This is the fourth copyright strike that they have done directly. I have had 9 copyright strikes in the last couple of months. I've also had 2 months worth of denial server attacks against my website. This company is not a legitimate company. They are not playing by the book. And frankly speaking, the gloves are off. This is another blog that they do not want online. I'm going to paint a picture. I'm going to encourage you to be a fire starter. We need people to complain. It's all very well. We literally have got 6 different government agencies working on Goliath Ventures. I do get information that sometimes would blow your socks off. I feed information. I'm the biggest supplier of information to bring down Goliath Ventures. We even froze a bank account the other day that had $100 million worth of transactions. Now the company is using that frozen bank account against me, claiming that the reason they can't pay their investors is because their bank account was frozen. Yes, that's what we've heard from the partners, and the stories just keep coming. The excuses keep coming. But what we can't deny is in October, November, December, when they promised everything would be back to normal, and now they're saying January. And I have investors who have come to me telling me that they are waiting to January before they do their reporting. Please do not do that. You need to report this now. Now, I put my hands up. You can tell me your woes and your stories. I get it. Well, you don't have to, but you can. The evidence, the documents that you have been sharing with me are amazing. But what you need to do is put your big girl or boy trousers on. Go to deheck.com. You'll find this article here, and how to report Goliath Ventures Inc. and take action if you've lost money. If you have been promised something that they haven't delivered, if it's insured, then you need to go here and go through the steps on how to report financial losses through Wyoming, because that's where they're registered, because they shut their company down in Florida. And also, if you are in Florida, you will find all the links on how to do so. I can't stress that enough. We have built a massive fire. We have got 135, maybe 40 people of persons of interest. We have a database that a lot of people who are investing don't realize we've been gathering intel on them. So what you need to do is you need to help us light that fire. Light that fire. We need you to complain to the state of Wyoming, where they have re-registered their company after shutting down the company in Florida. We need you to start blowing those whistles. And that's why there is a massive whistle sitting here on the desk. These 3 guys have all had the right of reply, and one of them has provided some information, and some of the claims that Christopher has actually been making weren't done with these people's approval. He's been fluffing it up, as they say. It's like what do they call it when you see a wee kid at a coffee shop and they get a fluffy? It's just milk with lots of bubbles. That's what he's been doing. All right, well, I can't really tell you more. This is a big blog. This is one of the biggest loads of information that we're about to going to give you. and we want you to be here with me as we read it. And I really, really want you guys to sharpen up. Now, unfortunately, I just need to do something to help me here. This is the video that they've actually removed, or tried to remove, but they don't realize it's on there twice. Oops, didn't mean to tell you that, guys. So it's not, but what I'm doing is I'm clicking on this link here. I'm going to here. Fortunately, I just need to do something, make sure I sound right, and I'm making a wee box pop up on the chat room over here so I can put it over here. Now, there is a poll in there, which I'd love you guys to participate on. And I'm also going to set up a goal. Now, if you've been watching this and you're wondering how I monetize, I don't do this for the money, but I do need money to live. So, hold it. Celebrate 2026 scam busting. So you can actually see I've just placed a goal on my YouTube channel. And if you can support me, that would be nice. I still haven't figured out how to monetize what I do so I can do this on a full-time basis. But there's lots of ways you can help me. There is support me on my website, and there's buy me a cup of coffee. And right now would be really, really nice if you wanted to do that. If you can't support me, that's okay. You can always just join the YouTube channel, and there will be a button that pops up about now. And you click that button, you've hit the notification bell. Did you know that you'll get emailed when I go live? That's why after I go live, I've currently only got a handful of people in here, but as the time goes on, people will turn up in here. And what I always say to people, I know it's a bit quirky, but Sadie, she doesn't get paid anything at all. She works out of love. She doesn't like scammers, and she'll come here and clean the screen of your computer if you subscribe, and that's our way of giving back. Now, I'm going to try read this. I'm a bad reader. I'm dyslexic, literally got a reading level of a 9-year-old. I was asked by a massive reporter the other day, how do I feel about people claiming I use AI? And I said, of course I use AI. I use AI to cross-reference and fact check. I go through videos, I get the transcript, I put it into AI. I ask it to cross-reference what people said. When they say it, I go and I check the references to make sure they actually said it. AI is just about always spot on. But I'm not recklessly writing my content using AI. I don't go to AI and say, write me a story about Christopher and a crypto company. We use it, we rinse it in and out, we squeeze all the juice out of it, and we get all the good stuff, we put it into videos. So every paragraph of this blog has been tidied up with AI. And then I've got those paragraphs and I said, can we improve it? Can we provide better information? And then somebody will put this article into a public area where my Avengers will get to proofread it. And they will offer suggestions, they will give us facts, they will give us screenshots, and we'll get PDFs and we'll include them in here. So yes, I do use AI a lot, but I do not rely on AI to provide us the intel that I share with you. It's been scrutinized by people. And even if I speak now, there's somebody who's just decided to send me a message and I get intel on the fly. But here we go. How proximity, trust, and recycled narratives built the illusion of an empire. What follows is not speculation, hype, or hindsight commentary. It is a reconstruction of events based on first-hand accounts, archived material, and direct outreach to people who were presented inside the same business and social circles as Christopher Delgado, before Goliath Ventures even existed as a brand. So what we're doing, we're looking at things that go back before Goliath Ventures actually started. And did you know that Goliath Ventures was actually renamed from another company? Yes. As protected whistleblowers came forward with historical details and fundamentally reframed how this adventure began, not as a functioning blockchain company, but as a series of unfinished ventures. Yes, abandoned pitches and evolving narratives that rely on heavily on borrowed credibility. This is what this whole company is built on. If I ever said smoke and mirrors, a veneer that doesn't exist with no substance, this would be it. Proximity, I think that word's right. I'll have to check it.
Proximity.
Proximity to wealth, proximity to influences, and proximity to early crypto schemes already trusted by participants. So there's you know how you fake it till you make it? Sometimes you can be standing next to, let's say, Eric Trump, and that's meant to give you some credibility. Or maybe you're standing next to Kash Patel in the White House, and that's meant to give you some credibility. Well, it's the same here. Christopher has been associating himself with legitimate projects, hoping that's going to give him some credibility. Gen Zen Ventures was the one that I'm about to talk about. When trust is passed through social circles instead of earned through proof, belief spreads faster than facts. Listen to that. So it's all about social circles. Nothing's been proven about what he's done. To test those claims, I contacted every individual named by the whistleblower, giving each of them the opportunity to confirm, deny, or correct what was said. Some clarified their position, some sought to distance. Only 2 responded in detail. The rest chose silence. So there you go. That silence doesn't prove guilt. It does, however, leave the whistleblower account and the available documentary record largely uncontested. So what we're about to say hasn't been, you can't say that. We've given them opportunity to correct what we're about to say. What emerges is a clear pattern explaining how Goliath Ventures was able to raise significant sums of money without producing verifiable, I can't even say the word, but evidence that that it ever built the blockchain liquidity or mining operations it claimed. Now, if you go to Goliath Ventures website, you can see that on here it's pretty clear what they do. For a company that we believe has turned over well over $500 million they've taken $500 million in from investors, claiming to do liquidity pools, Bitcoin mining, and blockchain technology. We don't find any proof of that, and that's what this article is all about. Now, there's a button on this blog. You'll find the link to this button in the description of this video that you're watching, and we're asking you to start the fire. That's what we want. But you also find it on my website, tehek.com. Dubai, the credibility accelerator. That's right. Back in 2021, Christopher was going back and forth. In mid to late 2021, Christopher Delgado, I'm going to get that right soon, Delgado began spending extended periods in Dubai, operating outside crypto, what's that word?
Adjacent.
I thought it said adjacent circles where perception offered I can't read that. I'm just going to get this paragraph read until I get my mojo going back again.
Where perception often substituted for proof. At that time, Dubai functioned as a credibility accelerator. Formal structures mattered less than proximity. If you appeared connected to the right people, attended the right events, or were seen in the right penthouses, trust followed automatically.
Yeah, it's really important because I've got so many photos, more than I can poke a stick at, of Christopher just being party boy. I've got photos of him squirting a very expensive bottle of champagne over guests in his theoretical house at the time, wherever that is. You know, and it just shows that this guy knows how to schmooze in circles, and he's at the timing back in 2021 is exactly what he took full advantage of. During this period, Delgado and a business partner, and I never get their names right,
Vance Fundora,
were involved in media and exposure-related services. So what they did is they basically did people's social media marketing. Through this work, they moved through overlapping circles of crypto investing, venture scouting, and social promotion, entering the orbit of high-profile figures, including Carl Moon. I won't say his last name because I'll probably butcher it, but I'll try and do that. Runefeld. Carl Moon Runefeld. So they did some marketing for Carl Moon, and rumors are that they overcharged him by at least 2 or 3 times more than they should have. Others represented in this environment included, I'm going to read these paragraphs because I'm going to destroy people's names.
Junaid Dar, Asad Dar, and Darius Kowalczyk,
Whew.
commonly known online as Dara Crypto. Kowalczyk is publicly listed as a co-founder on both Seed Hunter and Bitwood, alongside Junaid Dar. What existed at this stage was not a company, but a relationship-driven ecosystem.
Yeah, so Seed Hunter, and I think we'll mention it in the blog, but the Seed Hunter had one of their openings. Apparently it was meant to be in Chris's apartment. So it just shows the connection. And these are, I'm not going to endorse anyone's company, but these are not, as far as I'm concerned, doing anything shady or running any large-scale Ponzi scheme investments like Goliath Ventures is. But obviously he's associating himself with these companies for a reason, which they don't want to have anything to do with Christopher for obvious reasons. There's no evidence that Goliath Ventures Inc. existed as a formal operation at this point. What did exist was introductions, social overlaps, and early borrowing of credibility through association. And this is where the actual story begins. So the first one is the NLP era, trust before verification. This was in 2021 to 2022, so now 4 years ago. Running parallel to Dubai social environments was a high-speed yield investment structure commonly referred to as NLP. Now, I should have actually updated that to my liquidity partners, but I didn't, so I forgot to do that. Association with Verlin Sancho, I can't even say his name.
Verlin Sanchianko.
Verlin Sanchianko. Now that's the best I'm going to get. NLP was produced as a liquidity-based strategy and circulated quietly through personal introductions. Sound familiar? Not publicly marketing. Early returns were observed, technical explanations were provided, and confidence spread regularly. So a lot of people listened to the jargon and invested in this company. And that's why we've often said that we believe that my liquidity partners, or NLP, was a mirror image of Goliath Ventures. So Christopher's learning how to structure his own company. I'm going to just read this paragraph to give me a bit of a mental break for a second.
Crucially, trust did not come from audits, transparency, or independently verified performance. It came from who introduced you. If the opportunity arrived through someone already perceived as credible within the Dubai crypto scene, that alone was often enough to override caution.
Yeah, welcome to my Avengers in the chat room. You know who you are, so I'd just like to say thank you. If you've got any comments, please do put it in the chat room. My Avengers will answer them along the way. If you've got any questions about where to ask questions or links to our WhatsApp group, by all means. Now, why I'm saying that, I'm just going to take a wee break here, and I actually am going to give you the link, a link to our WhatsApp group, and everyone's welcome to join. You will be scrutinized a little bit. We don't let everybody in there, but you're more than welcome to join. And I did realize that the link that I had on some of the blogs wasn't working, and it's another reason why I was a wee bit late starting today. But there's the link to our WhatsApp group in the chat room. Everyone's welcome. You will be scrutinized by the Avengers before you're let in, but we're there to help the investors. According to the whistleblower, many individuals who would later appear around Goliath Ventures Inc. were present in this environment. Not necessarily as operators, but as investors, referrers, or people moving with the same social and financial circles. And that's how the scam actually really got traction. Names presented in the ecosystem were Carl Moon. I'm not going to say his last name again. I'm not going to... the people that were mentioned in the same circles, basically it's the same family. Alex, the fitness instructor that now drives around in a $350,000 Lamborghini. I'm going to read all those names just because I want them on record.
Carl Moon Runefelt, Junaid Dar, Christopher Delgado, Nick Petrillo, Alex Bucalo, Fabian Kumpush, Evan Klassen, and others.
Yeah, so everyone that was involved with NLP, those names were also involved or associated or knew about Goliath Ventures Inc. Special terms were reportedly offered to certain participants. So, for example, in Carl's case, NLP allegedly provided 12 to 16% monthly returns. Obviously, they wanted him to promote it, and that was the returns he was offered, rather than the usual 10%. Can you imagine offering anyone 10% returns in any investment opportunity? But that's what they offered him. We've asked him for right of reply, and we've got crickets. Reinforcing perception of exclusively, sorry, I'm just have to read that. I'm going to get that twisted.
Reinforcing perceptions of exclusivity and insider access.
Yeah, the court records add an important context to this period. Verlin appears in official United States federal filing related to a wire fraud and financial misconduct, including allegations of investor deception and misuse of proceeds. These matters were pursued in the United States District Court for the Central District of California. And there's the case. You can click on that and just prove that. When you click on that, it will open up on a new page and you can actually see these court documents that were served and used. You can go through the whole court documents by just simply searching for that case number. These filings are not option or speculation. They establish a document of enforcement history that is relevant when assessing the credibility of NLP and the understanding why its collapse later had cascading effects across adjacent ventures and social circles. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's like rinse and repeat. I often see one scam rebrand itself to over and over again. It's amazing. In late 2022, NLP began fracture. Is that fracture? Fracture. Withdrawals stalled, excuses followed. Sound familiar? And the insurance protection plan was cited as justification for delays. Confidence collapsed. Boy, does that sound familiar right now. This was not just a failure. It was a vacuum. And vacuums invite replacements. So here you go. Here's a whole lot of investors here that lost money on NLP. There's Christopher with shiny Goliath Ventures Inc. offering 3 to 4 up to 8% return per month. Social overlap and the I don't even know how to say that word.
Incubation phase.
Incubation stage. It sounds like something coming out like a raccoon, isn't it? Although throughout 2020, the same individuals continued to overlap at private events, launch parties, crypto-related gatherings where social proximity increasingly substituted for due diligence. So it was who you know, not what you know. Visibility became validation. Being seen in the right rooms with the right people carried more weight than audited results or verifiable operations. During this operation, Christopher Delgado and his associates were not only presenting themselves as successful crypto it's been a long couple of days, guys. Entrepreneurs, but also a mission-driven investor and international philanthropist. Now, I watched a video where I've added some information into this, and it will be below, but I did see a video which Christopher states that he publicly listed one of his companies and privately sold another one. And then I've seen other videos where he's walking around pouting his chest, claiming he's some sort of untouchable billionaire guy who everything he does is successful. But I've got video evidence of it, and we have got links in this video. Goliath-linked narratives emphasize doing good, supporting early-stage companies, funding innovation, and participating in charitable or social responsible initiatives. And that's what they do. You know, like the amount of people, I got told before I started investigating this that you are going to hurt a lot of people by blowing this Ponzi scheme up and telling people what it's all about. And that's what we're not trying to destroy people, but we're trying to just save people from getting invested. But, you know, these people knew how to schmooze. Christopher knows how to get in there and basically get in the right circles. This framing proved efficiently persuasive to prospective investors. By association, he must be real. He must be the real deal. Who were drawn who were drawn not just to return. Oh, look, I'm sorry. That does not make sense to me.
Who were drawn not just to returns, but to the idea that their capital was helping build something positive.
Couldn't say it better myself. Several of these narratives later desperately quiet. I'm going to have to read this paragraph until I get it right. Sorry.
Several of these narratives later disappeared quietly. Early references to non-profit involvement, economic development, and socially aligned investments were dropped. Promotional material referencing projects such as the Coconut 100 Water Company, which Goliath at times implied it held an interest in, vanished without explanation. What remained were a small number of repeatedly cited projects, such as Castor and Medieval Empires, neither of which has been independently verified as producing income for Goliath investors.
Yeah, so we've heard that Coconut 100 Water Company was, they own 20% of it. We thought it might be a way of moving money, just saying. One confirmed event during this period was the Castor Party launch, attended by Christopher Delgado and, what's it called?
Vance Fundora.
During Delgado's second trip to Dubai, at this time there was still no formal Goliath operation. What existed instead was something more subtle and ultimately more dangerous, a network where money, reputation, and expectation had already been normalized before any regulatory structure was in place. Castor itself is a crypto-related project that Goliath Ventures later referenced as part of its now this is interesting.
Purported investment portfolio.
Or strategic partnership. So this is Christopher claiming that Goliath Ventures was a partner with Castor. However, was Goliath Ventures or was Christopher? At various points, Goliath Communications implied an ownership stake or material involvement. No independent verification has been produced to, I'm not having a good day,
substantiate any claimed level of ownership, partnership, or financial exposure.
Attendance at these events associated with Castor appear to have functioned primarily as a social proximity creating I'm going to read it. Sorry, guys. I'm just not having a good day.
Implied legitimacy rather than demonstrating operational or financial substance. A whistleblower has further indicated that several investments later listed on Goliath's website may have been personal investments made by Christopher Delgado prior to the formation of Goliath Ventures Incorporated, later reframed as firm-level holdings. That distinction matters because it directly shaped how investors interpreted Goliath's credibility and track record.
Glad I didn't have to read that. This period is critical to understand and explains how later claims were accepted with minimal scrutiny. The trusted infrastructure was already built long before there was anything verifiable behind it. Now we go back to Goliath Ventures' accomplishments. So what we're alleging is every accomplishment that Goliath Ventures claims that they're associated with was formed well before Goliath Ventures was actually set up. So these investments, unless they have had new contracts, new contracts written under Goliath Ventures Inc., these are theoretically all Christopher's personal accomplishments, which does make you wonder why he continued down this road of destruction where he's got himself to today. Also, what we've found out about that was quite interesting is, these are obviously, Goliath Ventures is owned 100% by Christopher. So it could be argued, suppose, that it's his company, his investments, but are these investments with him personally, or are they somehow propping up the company as what seems like it's alleged that is the case? Happy New Year to everyone. Keep that coming. Collapsed creates opportunity. Late 2022 and early 2023, if you're up with this. Now, by November, December 2022, NLP was effectively failing. Withdrawals are stalled. Confidence eroded, and explanations began circulating about insurance mechanisms and delayed protections, is it?
Delayed protections.
Most participants exited somewhere between early and too late, even without clarity on what was actually happening to their funds. So they didn't know what was happening, but obviously one guy was sentenced and then went to Dubai, got himself involved in some mortgage scam or something and got sentenced. But we'll find out more about that. According to the whistleblower, Christopher Delgado and Nick Petrillo both had exposed
exposure to MLP during this period and were attempting to recover funds as the structure deteriorated.
Right. Well, there you go. So Nick and Christopher both were invested in this company and they were also trying to get their money out of it. This collapse created a vacuum, not just financially, but reputationally, as participants searched for explanations, reassurance, and replacement opportunities. So you can see what's happening here. One Ponzi scheme falls over. Oh, well, let's start up our own. Additionally, context from confidential sources familiar with Dubai proceedings helped clarify conflicting narratives. Now, this is something that you may not have known circulating at the time. According to this source, an individual later associated with NLP involvement had previously been sentenced in the United States for a real estate fraud matter, but was not detained. Wait till you hear why. Following sentencing, permission was granted to travel to Dubai for business purposes. So the guy's about to be sentenced, and then he said, can I have my passport back and go to Dubai and do some business? Subsequent disputes in Dubai, again related to real estate transactions, reportedly resulted in a 6-month incarceration. This background helps explain the climate of silence, partial disclosures, and reputational management that was surrounded NLB's collapse. So, yes. So that was, I've forgotten his name. It's in here somewhere. I don't want to get off track here because I can easily do this on this one. So this is Verlin. So Verlin was given his passport back, but when he got to Dubai, they basically had another dispute and he was locked up for 6 months. We've been trying to search where he was incarcerated, but we didn't know he was incarcerated in Dubai. The word on the street is he's been out for 2 months and he owns someone $10 million or 10K. I don't know exactly what it is. We can't verify it, but theoretically owes somebody in Dubai some money. And until he repays that money, he can't get his travel permit back. So he's another victim trapped inside Dubai. It was during the same period in collapse that discussions about a new venture began. These conversations initially took place privately amongst people already connected through NLP environment, rather than through public marketing and formal announcements. That's how these opportunities evolve, which is really, really good. G'day, Velvet. Lovely to see you here. Happy New Year. The first version that replaced the idea was not Goliath Ventures, as it would later be presented. It was Bitcoin mining. So the first opportunity that came out of this collapse of NLP was an opportunity to get involved with crypto mining. And if you aren't keeping up with current events, pal, look what they do. Crypto mining. So let's carry on. You'll enjoy this narrative. The first Goliath concept, Bitcoin mining, and this was early 2023. The earliest, let's just read this paragraph.
The earliest incarnation of what would later become Goliath Ventures Incorporated was presented as a Bitcoin mining operation, not a liquidity pool or passive yield structure. According to the whistleblower, this phase was legitimate in intent, even if it ultimately failed in execution.
Yeah, so the story goes, and I don't think I've actually put this in blog, there was these containers that were doing water-cooled crypto mining, and you could buy a $250,000 container, and you could split that up into 10 investment opportunities. And this was something that they had already secured a premise with, and also discounted powers. And our whistleblower said this was a real thing, but it failed. It didn't get off the ground. No one invested, allegedly. But however, as I just showed you over here, we're still doing crypto mining. So that was just a veneer.
The proposal centered on tangible infrastructure rather than abstract returns. There were real discussions around water-cooled mining, containerized or warehouse-style setups, and access to cheap power, with investors funding hardware and physical build-out, not trading strategies. Limited testing reportedly took place. Real equipment existed, a facility had been identified, and power was available at a basic level.
Yeah, so all systems will go. And this is where when I really got interested in the whistleblower when they were providing me intel.
Key individuals involved at this stage included Junaid Dar, Karl Munrunefelt, Asad Dar, and Darius Kowalczyk, also known online as Derek, who is publicly listed as a co-founder of Seed Hunter alongside Junaid Dar. Christopher Delgado joined later, after the mining concept was already in motion.
Yeah, so in my job as an investigative journalist, getting people's email address and direct communication is quite hard work. In this case, I actually managed to get their personal phone numbers, and we're sending them text and asking for replies. A couple of them replied back, "How did you get my number?" So it's really good that people are helping me in my investigations, but it also shows that they are reading, if not listening to this very video right now. And we are open to a right of reply, even though we've asked you for a right of reply. You're still welcome to correct any of this information. One of the whistleblowers stated to me that I outed him on the 7th of September by publishing something that wasn't true. I have no ways of really contacting some of these individuals. The intel we get's amazing, but if we haven't got it right, then here's your opportunity to put it right. But as far as I'm concerned, if I publish this article and give you the questions and you choose not to answer them, what am I meant to think? What are my viewers meant to think?
Despite early groundwork, the project never progressed beyond testing and planning. Scaling the operation required substantial additional capital, logistical coordination, and long-term commitment. That capital never arrived in sufficient form, and the mining concept failed to cross the start line as a commercial operation.
The project stalled and did not show, what did not stall was fundraising. Now, I personally think this makes sense. I believe that they use this as a carrot to tell people. They use this to tell people that they're looking for investors. No doubt people told them that they would invest if they come up with a good return. This could have sparked the idea, and this could have got the balls rolling, but the reality of it is there's no proof of any Bitcoin mining, as we've been saying all the way through, other than this image on the computer. And if you click that button, you'll see a pretty AI image of a crypto mining outfit that looks swanky. It doesn't look like it was inside a container, but there was obviously talks. There was an opportunity where they could have got something off the ground, but it needed investment money. Now we start searching for investors. People start offering us money. And now we decide, why don't we just start up a Ponzi scheme? Christopher Delgado started the original story in a publicly available panel interview titled Private Capital's 3 Playbook Revealed, Goliath Ventures. Christopher Delgado speaking out. Now, we have to watch this. I think this is really relevant.
So, Chris, what is the difference between private capital and, I would say, what we know as other or traditional capital? And how does that let you operate a bit differently?
Yeah, so the biggest difference is private capital means that it's either all of my money or it's close friends and family. And that's the best thing about how we built Goliath was I had 2 large companies a couple years ago. One we went public and one was private, and we ended up selling both of those. And I started the fund with my own money. And the reason for that was I wanted to be in control of where I put my money, the companies I invested in, and also have control into the companies that I was investing in.
So that's pretty breathtaking. So if you want to watch that video, the claims that he made was pretty amazing. So Christopher Delgado, speaking as CEO of Goliath Ventures Inc., stated that prior to forming Goliath Ventures, he owned 2 large companies. Does anyone know what companies they were? No one does. Claiming that one was publicly listed. Well, as far as I'm concerned, a publicly listed company that he owned. I have no idea what that is, Christopher. While the other remained private. Well, everyone likes private in this game, don't they? and that both were later sold. Well, who to? And how are those companies going today? With the proceeds used to start Goliath using his own money. So he started Goliath using his own money. Have you ever heard anything so ridiculous? Delgado presents his story as the foundation of Goliath's structure, explaining that the firm initially operated solely with his personal capital, before later opening to friends and family. Well, I bet he hasn't got many friends left, and family I'm not sure of, whom he sees personally trusted him to a proven strategy. Listen to his words, not mine. And a claimed 6-year track record of success. So, Christopher, you're an amazing individual. 6 years of success. He further asserts that his original allows Goliath to operate without a board, without investor approval, so he can do what he damn well likes with your money, and to make rapid capital, what's that word?
Allocation.
Allocation. So he can do what he likes with the money rapidly. Now, these stupid videos that he's been doing lately are crazy. He's claiming that a university, he's already working with them. He's claiming that he's got his swanky offices in Florida, which he's already shut down the company in Florida, and he's going to be working with entrepreneurial people doing stem cell replacements. That's what he's been publishing lately. Go to my YouTube shorts and you'll see a video. It's absolutely ridiculous. He's changing the narrative. It's called an exit strategy based on internal audits alone. So he's keeping this secret company, and we've got another word down here which will, I don't want to get wrong as we go through it. I've updated this blog this morning with some new intel that we just received overnight. However, no company names are disclosed, no exchanges or jurisdictions are identified, and no public listings, filings, or independently verifiable records are cited to sustain the claim that a company was publicly listed, sold, leaving a material gap. Was that material?
Material gap.
Oh, I'm getting better at reading. Between the narrative presented and confirmable evidence. Why do I use such big words in my own blogs? I wonder. So here we go. A whole lot of claims with nothing backing anything up. Now, what do you think is happening? How's the insurance policy looking? How is anything looking to do with Goliath Ventures at the moment? Have you just been hoodwinked into believing that they've got something greater? Or, in my opinion, they're just running a straight Ponzi scheme. I don't believe they were doing anything. They might have had plans, but they never ever got anything off the ground. I'm thinking about buying a bank, and I'm going to get amazing returns for people, and then at the moment I need to go out and get investors to back my bank idea. That's all they've done. They've gone out there, schmoozed in communities, and not just communities, brothers, sisters, fathers, uncles, aunts, anybody they can think of, and said, we've got an amazing opportunity and we're going to pay you 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8% return per month on our ideas. All of a sudden, all the money keeps coming in. The money keeps coming in. What do? I know, we'll just start paying people with the same money that's coming in. It's called a Ponzi scheme. That's how it is. Can you imagine anybody trying to control millions of dollars coming in? That's what's happened, guys. This is what I do for a living. I expose large-scale Ponzi schemes and scams. Money just keeps coming in. Look at him. He's flying around in jets. He's got $4 million worth of vehicles. He's bought 5 houses. I think the houses are all up for sale. Anyone clever in the real estate game, we've been speaking to a real estate agent, and he's telling me that all 5 properties are back on the market. Now, I don't know. I haven't verified that. But if you can find that out, I have all the addresses of the places. We know one of them is definitely on the market, and we know that has just short of a $700,000 mortgage on it. So help me be the fire starter. You know, this is amazing. This is the idea. Money keeps coming in. What do? We haven't got anything to return an investment. We'll just use the money and we'll start paying investors. That's what they've done, guys. and you're sitting here on your hands, waiting till January, hoping that what's going to start up again? Unfortunately, you've been part of a scam that's been building. The pivot from infrastructure to yield. And this was the first quarter and second quarter of 2023. So around 2023, the first few months, the narrative changed. Mining failed in the background. A yield-focused model emerged. Messaging shifted towards liquidity, passive returns, and wealth growth. The pivot concluded. Is that concluded? Looks very much like a coin.
Coincided.
Completely different word. Increased lifestyle marketing, high visibility events, broader investor outreach. Did you see the Christmas party? They reckon $5 million. Jason Derulo playing, things falling from the sky, ladies serving drinks upside down, hanging from wires from the ceilings. Every guest got a $600 or $700 present that we worked out. Staying in $1,000 a night accommodation. 1,000 guests were invited. A lot of people didn't go. Wonder why. And we even had Avengers in the event. So we got some amazing intel. It's all going to come out. I can tell you stuff, but I'd have to shoot you. We've got things happening, and it's happening this month. This month, big things are happening. This is going to be exposed large scale. I promise you that. Things are starting that you are out of my control. What I want to see is indictments, but what I want you guys to do is fire start. Start complaining. Go to my website. The description's in the link. The link is in the description of this video. Okay, this is the moment when Goliath Ventures became a brand, not just a concept. From this point on, claims were made about blockchain technology, whatever that means. Liquidity pools, mathematically impossible to get the returns that they claim people are going to get just with liquidity pools. But remember, in Patrick Ben David's, he paid $1 million for naming rights at the Vault 2025 event, and he stood up on the stage and he says that he helps people build their passive incomes, and they're involved in liquidity pools and pancake swaps. And he sounded like a 3-year-old talking about the internet. This guy doesn't know the arse end of a blockchain. Here he is on a stage after paying $1 million to get in front of people to talk about liquidity pools. Why didn't he talk about Bitcoin mining? Well, I've just proved that, haven't I? Yet, no evidence has been produced showing these systems operating at scale. Nothing. We've just shown you that yes, there were talks. They were in testing stage. It never got off the ground. The whistleblower accounts is clear. Mining did not disappear because it succeeded. Mining did not disappear because it succeeded. That does not sound right. I'm going to have to read that paragraph because it doesn't say it right. I'm sure it's the way it's written.
The whistleblower's account is clear. Mining did not disappear because it succeeded. It disappeared because it couldn't be pushed over the line while money continued to come in.
Yeah, the money was coming in, but the project that they claimed that the money was for didn't get over the line. I should have wrote that myself. Now, interesting enough, what did happen? Well, we got threats of legal action. Even 20 minutes before I went live, as I said, we got a copyright strike against my YouTube channel. 9 copyright strikes, or maybe 10 in the last couple of months. This is the only one that's acting. And I've already written a letter back to YouTube and saying this is a fake copyright strike. The video is mine. The video that they've placed a copyright strike on is this one here. And this is where Chris used to work at In-N-Out Burgers, and he got fired. Fired for stealing. That's what happened. Here, we've got early capital for Goliath Ventures appear to have originally primary from, so early capital seemed to have come in from Dubai-based contracts where trust had already been established during the NLP era. So this is where the first lot of money we heard, and this is why we reached out to a few of the people mentioned in this article, asking them whether they were invested or they had been pitched, rather than being raised through transparent fund structures like, hedge fund people. This capital functioned as social proof. I don't even know if I said that right. I was trying to ad-lib, but it's not working.
Transparent fund structure. This capital functioned as social proof, repeatedly referenced to attract investors in other regions.
Yeah, they're already traveling in those circles of investors. I'm going to read that paragraph as well.
That perceived momentum was then used to target investors in the United States and Canada, with particular focus on Florida, including Miami and Orlando, where Goliath hosted meetings and private introductions were framed as evidence of an expanding international operation.
And this is what really makes me sick. On Christopher's website here, if you come down here, you see them standing at this golf course. I've forgotten what it's called. Chris will never get a membership there. Ellsworth, his house that might be back on the market, backs onto this golf course. They don't want him as a member. Quote my words. Go in there and ask, why hasn't Christopher Delgado got himself a membership at the swanky golf course? All these people, these photos had other people in them. And these people have threatened Christopher with legal action if he doesn't remove them from association. Does this sound like a genuine company? Down here, Goliath Ventures is proud to support both local and international charities, communities, and schools. Goliath Ventures has donated $1 million over the past year and more than $4 million to a charitable and community efforts since 2019. We contacted all of those charities. Those charities have been scrubbing Goliath Ventures Inc. from their websites. One charity come back and said they have never received a donation from Goliath Ventures. 20 minutes later, they come back and said, we did find a donation of $300 2 years ago. So, what is he doing? He's using these communities. He's got himself in and under your skin. He's in your face. He's a nice guy. He's well-dressed. He looks successful. He's not Elton, what do they call that god? He is not, what's the guy with the Teslas? He's not that guy. I don't know who he is, but you know what I mean. The guy with the Teslas. Elon Musk. He's not an Elon Musk by any means. He's a guy that gets into these communities, throws away investors' monies and charities, and that's where I don't like reporting that sort of stuff. These charities fight real causes. They help kids with cancer. Christopher has gone in there. Now, technically speaking, these charities, if they have received funds, will theoretically have that money clawed back by the IRS. He stood up on Fentanyl Day in the White House, paid $250,000. So we heard. Whether it's true or not, we don't know, because we don't get Christopher telling us everything. He just gives us copyright strikes. He paid $250,000 to push his way into a White House dinner. He stood up, and it was Jackie Segal, her charity, the fentanyl charity, and he pledged $2 million for that charity. Now, a lawyer associated to that phoned me up, and I said, what's happening? Well, we don't want to rustle any feathers because we're hoping that the pledge that he made that we will get. So he stood up, made an ass of himself in a White House dinner on Fentanyl Day with a charity pledging $2 million worth of money that has come from investors and hasn't paid it yet as far as we're aware. What a creep. What an asshole Christopher Delgado is. And you believe he should be in your inner circles. His, what they call partners, are now having arguments with their families. I mean, this guy is a disgusting bottom feeder, and I will fight this guy to the death. I do not care. This guy has stolen your money, and I go after people, I name and shame individuals who are running or promoting large-scale Ponzi schemes and scams. I am relentless. My team of Avengers have been working on this. It is New Year's Day. It's raining outside. I am about to have a glass of champagne because of my work and my Avengers work that we've done going after these creeps. And we will fight them in the trenches. All right. Okay, so he's managed to get himself, he's used everything he learned in Dubai. He's come back to the United States, and he's now Canada was offered 8% return at the end of this scam. Investors were enticed with 8% per month return. Why would that be? Why didn't he offer it at the onset? Why would a collapsing Ponzi scheme all of a sudden be offering unheard of return on investments? That is because the money is dried up. But he's used everything he's learned in Dubai. He's come back and he's got involved with people in Miami, Orlando, Canada, and anywhere else. We have been getting the intel. Claims were represented. Claims were repeatedly made about the Dubai office. In practice, these references appear to have been private residence. Yes, including penthouse at 5 Palms, and I can't even say that word.
Jumeirah.
Jumeirah, used for meetings, events. Those locations reinforce legitimacy visually and socially, but these are not evidence of a formal registered operation in the Dubai office connected to Goliath Ventures. In fact, that penthouse where they even held, we believe, the Seed Hunters opening event is Christopher's $20 million apartment. So that is where Christopher's apartment is meant to be. He's got 2 apartments in Dubai. That apartment is where they held these events, is actually meant to be Christopher's apartment. So there you go, and I bet you didn't know that. Anyway, corporate reality, one name on every filing. Now, public records from the state of Florida show that Goliath Ventures Inc. was incorporated on February the 13th, 2019, with Christopher Delgado listed as the sole individual in a, what do they call that word?
Managerial
Or ownership capacity. No other officers, managers, or directors have ever appeared on these filings. So if you didn't know that, this was the original name of Goliath Ventures Inc. Goliath Ventures Inc. Did I say that right? Goliath Ventures Inc. I did. And they've obviously renamed it, which we're going to find out later. At a later date, Goliath Ventures Firm Inc. was renamed to Goliath Ventures Inc., which continued operating under the same structure reality. Christopher Delgado remained the only listed manager and controlling individual. The company remained active until September the 3rd, 2025, when it was administratively dissolved. Yeah, you heard it here. If you haven't heard that, Goliath Ventures Inc. has administratively been dissolved on the 3rd of September 2025. Now, I only started having reports about Goliath Ventures on my desk on the 1st of September. So 3 days after I started raising my eyebrows to what was going on, they shut the company down. We couldn't believe it. All filings for both entities were handled by the same registered agent, CPA, Harry M. Samuels. I phoned Harry M. Samuels the other day, and I would like to know his involvement, because all the companies, all the partners that were executives in Goliath Ventures Inc. were told to piss off and create their own LLC companies. Now, all of these companies that we have seen have been registered by Harry M. Samuels. He's been there from the start, who submitted the original incorporation documents back in 2019 and continued to file updates thereafter. In fact, the bookkeeper that works for Goliath Ventures Inc., Nadia Bringus, is actually on Harry M. Samuels' website as an employee. While long-term professional relationships and accountants are common, the filings establish a clear fact. No other individual ever held any formal authority within Goliath Ventures Inc., regardless of how roles may have been portrayed publicly. Now, if you come to their website and you click on our team, these people, Nick, we believe that he's a partner with Christopher. But Nick isn't on the ownership of anything to do with Goliath Ventures Inc. However, Nick, we believe, is 50-50. Alec, what is his role? Well, he's a fitness instructor. Good on you, mate. He teaches Christopher how to avoid getting more lipo, that stuff where they suck all the fat out of your stomach. And he now drives around in the $350,000 Lamborghini. A green one, grey one, can't remember. All these names. Matt Burke, the independent auditor, who now is off working. Well, he's been kicked out of that company as well. The other person that's been out of here is Pierce Curry. These are David Panzak, whatever his name is. He's meant to be working with Steve Davis. I see them guys together all the time. Steve Davis, fireman, hero, local community, 2 decades of serving as a fireman. When COVID happened, his job was telling people off who didn't get the injections. He decided to leave and write a book. It's had 7 people write reviews about it on Amazon. 2 of them are 1-star reviews. This guy has been telling his fireman brothers that he's part of an alpha community where it's male dominated. He has been rampantly promoting Goliath Ventures. He's still on the website. Some people have fallen off, like Vince, the realtor. He's disgusted. We've heard rumors that he's really upset. Hunter. Well, we've had lots of correspondence with family members. All these people. James, who's that? Well, that's Chris's brother. They've all got passports. Would you believe they've all got passports? The whole family just gone out and got passports. Never had them before. All of a sudden, they've got passports. What do you think that would be? Mike, his family, destroyed. The whole family's destroyed. All the families invested in Goliath Ventures Inc. And now they're sitting here thinking, no, we haven't lost our money. Tomo, he's been, if you go and watch his Instagram, he's been trying to distance himself. He was like close to the brotherhood, so close to the brotherhood, telling the brotherhood to keep it together. Goliath Strong was his hashtag he was sending out. This was on the 12th of December. No, it wasn't. It was on the 10th, roundabout on to December, just before they spent $5 million on a Christmas party of a lifetime. And they claimed that 15th to 18th of December, everything would be back to normal. And then all of a sudden, Vince, we noticed, disappeared. Vince disappeared off the website. Vince social media cleaned up anything to do with Goliath Ventures. Vince is Canada. And all of a sudden, Tomo's out there preaching to everyone about staying close. Don't desert the brotherhood or you'll be cut off. And now what's happened? Tomo, well, he doesn't have anything to do with Goliath Ventures anymore. Oh, I don't want anything to do with that. And he's trying to hold up his 2-year-old toddler and say life is wonderful. He'll be sweating at the moment. But all these people aren't actually listed on the company. What's happened is Christopher, number one, owned the company. Now, before this blog, I actually thought that Christopher was a puppet on a string. I thought that he was working for a cartel network out of Dubai. Once I've researched this blog, I'm convinced that Christopher has just got wound up with investors, and because of his historical dealings with gathering money from people and the people he's smoozing with, he's just been taking money from people. And it's gone to his effing head, and now he's feeding that same money back to people, and he's just switching money in and out. It's not rocket science. So who did I ask and who stayed silent? So before this was published, it's probably one of my most researched blogs within some degree. After receiving the whistleblower's account, which I was blown away with, I wrote directly to the following individuals, giving each of them the opportunity to confirm, deny, or correct what was said about their connection to Christopher Diego, NLP, and the early Goliath ecosystem. So these are the names of the people. I don't think I need to read them, but I will.
Roland Sanshianko, Junaid Dar, Carl Moon-Runefelt, Tony DeGraff, Didi Wong, Fabian Kumpush.
So who did I get responses from? Well, 2 lovely people, and it was nice communicating with you guys. Thank you very much for answering me and talking to me. It's quite a hard thing to get people to respond. But you felt the need. So 2 people responded, and I feel like I know them a lot better by corresponding, which is lovely.
Didi Wong.
And Fabian, isn't it?
Fabian Kumpush.
Fabian. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name right. I'm not taking the piss. I've actually got a court case here in New Zealand with a guy that I can't pronounce his name. And in the court documents, they're claiming that I'm racist because I couldn't pronounce his Māori name correctly. Can you believe it? Ironically, we've just started up another WhatsApp group, and this scam has fallen over. Everyone was told to, if they wanted their money, they needed to deposit an additional 40% into the app that they had their money in. Long story short, some people did it. Other people said, don't do it. And now the whole scam's fallen over. So I've actually got we've got about 70 people that are heavily involved in this scam. And now the guy that claims that I've done something, I've published untrue information on the internet with the Digital Harm Act in New Zealand, wants to go into a courtroom in February and defend that he hasn't been doing what he's been doing. He's toast. And if you aren't familiar, I'm in court quite a lot. Literally last year, I had 6 court cases filed against me. I won 3 of them are merged into one, so that's 3 gone. And then one I defended and won. And now we've got another one in the Christchurch courts, which is a hard case. And then obviously I've got Diego trying to file court cases which don't have any jurisdiction. But let's not go there. Both responses were, both the responses I got from those people were actually focused on distancing, limited involvement, and lack of operational control, decision-making authority within Goliath Ventures. Neither described themselves as operated or any of the structures. They're basically saying they didn't have anything to do with it, but were in the same circles. The remaining individuals did not respond. I am not presenting silence as proof of wrongdoing, but I am documenting it because this investigation is about accountability, not assumptions, and unanswered questions are part of the historical record. So if somebody come to me and said, well, you've accused me of such and such, like one of these individuals did, I said, well, how can I, if I've given you the opportunity to respond and you chose not to, then what am I meant to do? But I do know every single one of those people do know Christopher, and they have seen the birth of Goliath Ventures Inc., and they have seen other investments opportunities fall over, and they have seen claims of things like the crypto water cooled mining, for example. Each person contacted was asked the same core questions, framed narrowly and factually. These included whether I asked them questions if they ever invested in, promoted, or introduced others into Goliath Ventures Inc. Oh yeah, or its predecessors. Now and then, the first became connected. How and when they first became connected to Christopher, whether they had received commissions, potential returns, commissions, preferential terms, meaning that like Carl Moon, 12 to 16% per month, for God's sake, or insider access, and whether they were aware their name, image, or association had been used publicly in connection to Goliath Ventures related initiatives. So that was quite interesting. So if we just, I'll just read this paragraph, then I'll go back. They also were asked to confirm or correct specific historical claims made by the whistleblower, including early Bitcoin mining plans, MLP exposure, and whether any role they played was operational, advisory, or purely social. The purpose of those questions were not to accuse, but to separate operators from, was it proximity? Proximity figures and correct the public record before publication. So as you can see, this photo, I don't know if you've been following this as much as me, but this is quite a historical photo. And honestly, I thought these two individuals were associated with a cartel type network in Dubai, and they were potentially sending Christopher out as a puppet. But that was what I initially thought with the information I had at hand at the time. So these people that responded cleared up a lot of things that I were. So a lot of these people were telling me, which is quite horrific, that they were used in marketing that they didn't basically agree to. And he was trying to schmooze and rub shoulders with people, like a lot of the charities that Christopher was claiming he was part of was actually legitimate charities. And Chris was passing off, if used for a better word, just by association, but not necessarily, because we don't have any verifiable facts what Christopher's claims have ever eventuated into real business or real returns. And it's quite amazing what you've done, but then I don't want to criticize people that are doing legitimate opportunities and legitimate charities, like, Christopher's associated himself to all these friggin' charities, which is actually quite a shame. And I'd hate to tarnish any of the reputations of any of these charities that are doing really, really good work in the community. But Christopher has gone in there. He's like a wolf in a hen's house, and he's gone in there and he's ravished the hens. He's killed hens. He's killed relationships. He's basically destroyed trust that people have. And that's one of the things that we have in the world these days that make the world a better place, is that we can trust, we can listen, and we can learn from each other. And here's Christopher. He's a wolf in a hen's house. And he's gone into these charities that are doing good and schmoozed himself, knowing that the people who donate to these charities and these events will invest in investment opportunities that are too good to be true. And that's exactly what's happened. So he's played a very, very good game with these kind-hearted individuals. And it breaks my heart when people reach out to us feeling like they are a victim. And I'm saying report. Roles. Proximity. I don't even like that word. Why am I using it?
Proximity.
Proximity and responsibility. Based on the information available, Goliath, Christopher, and Nick appear to have been the prime operators of Goliath Ventures Inc., exercising control over its direction, measuring, messaging, and investor-facing narratives. Others move through the same environment as connectors, introducers, investors, or proximity figures rather than formal decision makers. So basically, he's used all these people in his company. And I'm sure these people are going back to you and saying that they are a victim. I am also, and this happens all the time, I'm also owed a lot of money by Christopher. Remember, they've all got their own individual companies now because, as Pierce Curry said, it's good to have a legal barrier between Goliath and yourself. So these partners have their own companies now. What is happening here? Something's gone wrong. Recompute. Something's wrong. Are we still broadcasting? That is what I want to know. Yes, we are. Oh, something just flashed on my screen that looked like we could be not broadcasting. Okay, public record provides additional context when assessing Petrillo's role. Prior to his involvement with Ventures, later assigned with Goliath's narrative, Nick Petrillo was referred to in federal disclosures relating to a 2.2 million false claim account settlement involving Trinity Medical Pharmacy. According to the United States Attorney Office for the Middle Jurisdiction of Florida, Petrillo served an executive role at Trinity, which agreed to resolve allegations of knowingly billing government healthcare programs improperly. This information is included for context only, but it establishes a history of regulatory scrutiny and governance failures relevant when evaluating patterns of risks and oversight. So is Nick an innocent person when it comes to, false claims? No, he's not. Although the ecosystem's social persistence repeatedly functioned as explicit, I'm not even going to read this.
Implicit endorsement.
Whether intended or not. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to read that whole paragraph as one. It'd be nicer for you.
Throughout this ecosystem, social presence repeatedly functioned as implicit endorsement, whether intended or not. Appearances at events, shared spaces, and public association created confidence that was not always matched by operational reality.
Yeah, so behind the scenes, as my mother used to say, you can be guilty by association. That does not mean anyone involved is a criminal. It means association creates trust, and trust is the most valuable currency in a scam. And this is what we fight with day in, day out, is that people go, I want to believe this person. They're a good person. And I'm going, yes, but that's what they do. They build that trust with you. But we want evidence. Where's the mining that they claim they do? Where's this? How are they doing the returns on liquidity pool trading? What Goliath claims versus what exists. Goliath Ventures was consistently claimed to be operating across blockchain technology, liquidity pools, and Bitcoin mining, presenting itself as a diversified crypto investment firm with multiple revenue streams. Earlier narratives went even further. Goliath was repeatedly framed as a private equity style investment firm. Not my words, Christopher's. A private equity style investment firm. And that not only generated returns, but also did good, supporting startups, backing innovation, and participating in, I never get that word right anyway, philanthropist, is it? Something like that?
Philanthropic.
Whew, I'll never say that word. Or social responsible initiative. So even in the videos that he's been chucking out just recently, he's going to be working with the universities closely to help entrepreneurs and getting involved in stem cell replacement stuff. You haven't heard the worst shit yet. References are made to charitable involvement, economic development, and ownership interest in ventures such as the Coconut 100 Water Company. Over time, those narratives quietly disappear, although with the post and the claims, and also along with the post and the claim that support them. So if you haven't been keeping up with current events, pals, every social media post on their Facebook, on their YouTube, on their TikToks, on their Instagrams, everything has been erased. Everything has been erased. And now they're posting new propaganda content. Based on the information reviewed, including whistleblower testimonial, archive material, corporate filings, and direct outreach, there is no evidence that any of these activities ever operated at scale or generated verifiable income for investors. So if you think that the money is coming from nowhere, why have they been offering 8% return to Canadians? Because they're trying to get cash flow. They're trying to keep this illusion alive. If you compound your money, now I heard today that somebody had compounded $500,000. They put $500,000 in Goliath, but they decided that it would be wise to compound it. So this person that I was talking to said that these people haven't been complaining about not doing withdrawals because their partner encouraged them to compound. And that's what they've been doing because they can't afford the bleed of money. So the person hasn't been complaining about not getting paid because they don't want to get paid. They believe the project so much that they're just going to leave their money in the app, online. Try to withdraw your principal. I advise everybody watching this that's invested in Goliath Ventures is to get your principal out. Don't take a penny more. Leave it on the platform. If you can get your own money out. Now, something I haven't mentioned in this blog. One investor on the 10th of December received all of their principal out plus the dividends, and they were getting 5% return. I'm going to mention that later on. On the 10th of December, one investor received all of their principal out and, all of their initial investment, their dividends at 5% return. And they had invested for just over 12 months. On the 10th of December, did you hear what I said? On the 10th of December, someone, hush money, got their money out of Goliath Ventures. Now, they're claiming an auditor has frozen the funds. They're claiming that everything's going to be back to normal on the 15th and the 18th of December. All the backdated stuff from October, November, December, and then something's gone wrong. The partners are sweating. They don't know what to tell the investors. And someone gets paid on the 10th of December. I told you guys months ago, in September, I told you guys to get your money out. People, we know one guy invested half of $500,000. He got his money out. And he got $15,000 out because he put his money in for about a month, got $15,000 out or whatever it was. And he offered me the $15,000 because he didn't want to touch it. I said, I don't want your dirty money. That's what's happening. People were getting their money out. People were saying, you don't know what you're talking about. But everything's been frozen since October, November, and December. And now they're telling you January, right? In the meantime, Christopher is telling everyone that they're opening up swanky offices in Florida. They've already shut the company down in Florida. And they're going to get involved in initiatives with universities. And they're going to work with stem cell treatment companies. Tomo comes to mind, perhaps. I don't know if that's what they do at Rejuvenation and whatever centre. But he's starting to distance himself. Even Andrew Tate doesn't want any association with Tomo or Christopher or Michael, who went to one of his war room events. Do a search on Andrew Tate, find out who he is, and really think, why wouldn't he want to be associated with Christopher? That's the hard-hitting truth. The Bitcoin mining concept never progressed beyond limited testing. Liquidity and yield initiatives were assured, but nothing substantiated. I can't even say that word. Substantiated. Claimed investments were, in some cases, personal holdings, later reframed as firm levy activity. I'm going to have to read that, but what I'm getting at here with this paragraph is on the website of Goliath. You come down here and it talks about how they have their accomplishments. These are Chris's accomplishments, not the company behind its accomplishment, and as they claim. So all the claims can't be verified or backed up as anything to do with Goliath, and that's where you've put your money. You haven't invested with Christopher, have you? You've invested with Goliath Ventures Inc., a private equity investment firm, as he says.
Claimed investments were, in some cases, personal holdings later reframed as firm-level activity. The philanthropic and impact framing faded without explanation.
There's a lot of comments in the chat room. Thank you so much. Love your comments. Thank you very much. We have got a whole lot of addresses that we're trying to figure out things with. And we were trying to figure that out before we went live, but it got too confusing for Danny's brain. But anyway, so Goliath also repeatedly assured, is that right? Asserted that investors' funds were insured. Right. Now, I've got a video, and I want to give you a glimpse of last year's Christmas party. Now, in this Christmas party, Christopher stood up on a stage and said to people that they have found an insurer for this investment. So this is a pretty big claim, and we need to listen to it. Now, I've tried to enhance the voice so you can hear it good, but I want you to think about what this video actually says. Now, I've never really watched this video, but I just got it about an hour and a half ago. But have a listen to this.
We're the only crypto blockchain company in the entire world to secure a bond and
Okay, we're the only crypto company in the entire world to insure a bond and insurance secured with
insurance, which means our most valuable asset are you partners with Goliath, and with that, we have secured this to secure your assets. So thank you, guys.
So here he is announcing that you, the investors, are his most valuable assets. Wouldn't it be the infrastructure of the mines, the liquidity pool, the offices where no one's working? A bookkeeper's doing all the bookworks? Come on, guys, wake up. You need to report this. You've been scammed. A bookkeeper can handle $500 million worth of deposits and withdrawals and dividends, who works for Harry Samuels, who's been setting up more companies that you can poke a stick at since 2019 and more. And here he is on the stage just 1 year ago telling everybody that that he has got insurance for your investments. Where is that insurance now? Did anyone ever get a policy? We've never got one. On the last line of the contract, it talks about if you want to know about the insurance, you had to email them. Listen to the last part of this, and we're going to listen to it again too.
And 3 rules. Please eat, please drink, and please have fun. Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Wow, listen to that again.
We're the only crypto blockchain company in the entire world to secure a bond and insurance, which means our most valuable asset are you partners with Goliath, and with that, we have secured this to secure your assets. So thank you, guys.
Isn't that breathtaking? So with this insurance, he's done this to secure your assets. What a load of shit. You guys have been played, and it's time for you to actually think about what's happening here. Goliath has also repeatedly assured that investors' funds were insured. There's the proof in a video, and claimed that played a significant role in calming concerns and discouraging scrutiny. And yet, as payouts stopped and investors' funds were frozen, no evidence has emerged of any insurance claims being filed. Come on, guys. No one has gone and said, where's the insurance claim? Can we have a look at it? Why not? Because he's in Dubai. Any insurer being named or any publicly documented any publicity document, I don't know, I'm going to have to read that last part of the exciting paragraph. It's really important, this paragraph, though. And I did have some screenshots of a new insurer that they claim that they have that's just been released, but I can't put it up because it doesn't make any sense. And I think it's just muddying the waters, for the use of a better word.
Or any policy documentation being produced. If such coverage ever existed, its absence now raises a simple but unavoidable question. Why has no insurance mechanism been invoked to cover missed payouts?
Right, so you haven't been paid in October, November, and now December, when promised you were going to be, and business was going to be returned to normal as per our other blogs. And now we've been told a year ago that all your money is secured, unheard of, first ever. So he's got insurance against your investments and no one's doing a claim. Have you been scammed yet? What did operate at scale was something else entirely. Networking. That's all Christopher does. He networks, he smooches, he's in those circles. No one wants to question him. No one can question him because it will be probably a gaslit answer, or you've been told you've been negative, or you're outside the brotherhood. Social proof. His, it's just socializing. It's Instagram post. It's show off time. Look at my car. Look at my house. Look at what I'm doing. Fundraising. I mean, they've been fundraising for all these charities, So I'm just going to read that because it didn't make sense to me.
Hat did operate at scale was something else entirely. Networking, social proof, fundraising.
The gap between what was claimed and what was actually built is where victims now find themselves trapped, still searching for returns that have never been backed by a functioning business. There's no business here, guys. This is, in my opinion, a straight Ponzi scheme. We're nearly there. The unanswered question: if the people once closest to Christopher Delgado are now distancing themselves, and if no verifiable income streams ever existed, then one question remains unsolved. Did Christopher act alone? Or did proximity, silence, and borrowed credibility make it possible? That is the question victims are still trying to ask. Did Christopher run this whole operation by himself? Well, Nick, you're heavily involved. There's people that need to go to jail, and I'll name a couple. Tomo, Pierce Curry, and Matt Burke. Christopher and Nick all need to go to jail. That's what I believe needs to happen. We need you to fight. We need you to light the fire, ladies and gentlemen. A request for investors and insurers to come forward. If you are an investor, introducer, or insider with direct knowledge of Goliath Ventures Inc., your information matters. The investigation is no longer a belief. Investigations is no longer about belief, timelines, or waiting for explanations to resolve themselves. It's about verifiable records, documented presentations, and what actually occurred versus what was presented. So did they deliver? Where claims, outcomes, and disclosures, what's that word?
Diverge. Contemporaneous evidence becomes critical.
Contemporaneous. I would just say anus somewhere along there. If you hold contracts, written payout representations, wallet addresses, I'm going to have to read this. So what we're asking people to do now is to help us speed up this. We've got the file. We've got more firewood than we need. No, but there's no point me going back to Homeland Security and saying, look, here's a scam, if no one's complaining. Because the first thing you do when you fill out those forms, they ask you, have you lost money? And I go, no. But if you guys have lost money and you fill out those forms, then you're going to be the fire starter. And they have to act. So we're asking you guys to get off your hands and stop waiting for January, because you've already missed October, November, December, and now in January you're hoping to get paid. This company didn't have any substance. This whole blog's to show you that this company's history doesn't exist. Their claims on their website, their accomplishments are all Chris's personal projects. Unless they've rebranded themselves, there's no proof that these acquisitions that they talk about are all Christopher's personal projects. You come down here, what we do is not what they do. They don't do shit. This is not what they do. There was no Bitcoin mining. They started it up, did a bit of testing, didn't even get going, no investors, no nothing, and they started collecting funds from you. And nothing happened. Blockchain technology. What the hell is blockchain technology? I'm not a crypto nerd, but what the hell is blockchain technology? They've even taken the payout button off the website, so you can't log into your back end unless you know the actual address. This website isn't even finished. You click on the links at the bottom. Their social media has all been scrubbed. You go to their about area and you go to our team. And you click on the little links that says, click on LinkedIn. All those links don't link through to their profiles. All their social media has had their comments turned off. So we've got an area where you can speak out. You can come to our WhatsApp group. You'll be scrutinized by my Avengers, and then we'll let you in there. And you can talk to other investors who are looking for something they can do. Right. You don't need to investigate this year alone. You don't need to start up a class action lawsuit, which I personally think is a waste of time. And you're wondering where your money is. Well, we're wondering as well. We've frozen some bank accounts. I've got one person that we managed to stop $250,000 getting to Christopher's hands. We managed to freeze the bank accounts through our networks. Even Homeland Security wants to have a meeting with me to ask me how I did that. Homeland Security want to know how I managed to freeze a Bank of America account. This person come to us telling us that they just invested 24 hours beforehand. I said, oh my God, how did you pay? I use Wise's Bank. This is how these partners have been paying people, through Wise's Bank. And they can transfer money in Wise's Bank into crypto and give it to people's crypto wallets. Every month they get a ledger from Christopher, from head office, and they're told how much to pay each person that wants to take dividends. They are encouraged to tell investors not to take dividends because they can't bleed anymore. They've got no money left. So now everyone's panicking. People are asking for their initial investment back and their dividends. And what we hear is crickets. And the people that have been paying you, well, they're all been paying you from their own Wise's bank account, LLC companies that have been set up, and they are the persons liable for your money. They took your money. They put a legal barrier between you and Goliath by setting up their own company. Now, if you're on my website and you go to my YouTube account and you click through my videos, I've just clicked over 66,000 subscribers. Thank you very much. Just noticed that. Now, if you come down here, one video that you want to have a look at is this video here. In here, it tells you what's happened to your money. They tell you the whole company structure. Even my Avengers watch this video now and go, oh my God, it was right there in front of us. The way the whole company is structured is in this video. So if I come to a video, if you want a bit of, I'm not telling you how to suck eggs, but there's a wee tiny more button. I don't know whether they don't make it bigger on YouTube. You come down here and you can click on view all, right? And in here, you can come through here. You could do a command F on the keyboard and you could put LLC. And then what will happen is you will find this paragraph here. Now listen to this. If you haven't listened to anything, you want to listen to this.
Establish their own LLC to do business with Goliath. So instead of individuals, you'll have a company. Creates a legal barrier. It's a limited liability company, which is good. The other thing that it does is it creates a clean way for you to be paid by Chris to serve your clients, which are ultimately Goliath's clients, right? In servicing them in this structure.
I mean, look at Matt Burke. He's meant to be a parish. We contacted the church. They scrubbed him from the website. He was working for another company. We did a video earlier on about that. as an operations manager. And I said to the person that owns that company, what the heck are you doing? This guy is here. He's literally looking like he knows this isn't right. You can just tell if you read the body language.
It sidesteps a bunch of regulatory stuff that de facto turns Goliath into a fund. Goliath is not a fund, so we want to...
They market themselves as a private equity investment thing. I think I've pointed that out in the blog. But imagine how you'd feel now. You've just been duped. They've told you that you're no longer an executive in Goliath Ventures Inc. You're no longer a salesman. You now have to form your own company. Goliath Ventures is going to pay your company, and then you're going to pay the investors. And this puts a legal barrier between what? It puts you in the shit, you dumbass. So all you partners out there who've gone and listened and followed Christopher around with his handbag of money have just put yourself in deep shit. And now you have been paying investors from your own company. And what did he say? Even to put a cherry on the top of that cake, that your customers are still Goliath customers. What company in their right brain cell would tell you to set up a mini company underneath their umbrella as your own legal entity and then give you money and you pay their customers through your company? That is money laundering. You guys, as soon as this is exposed, and it has already been exposed by me, that you are effed. You've just stuffed yourself stupid. And the best choice of action right now is to contact Danny DeHeck and say, put me in charge of the head investigation of Goliath Ventures Inc. because I want to whistleblow the whole damn lot. I want to tell them what happened in this meeting that you're looking at. That's what you need to do. If you're thinking that some hotshot idiot, Goliath Ventures guy, who pisses your money away and spends $100,000 in one night on alcohol, buys himself $4 million worth of cars, buys 5 houses, one for the ex-wife who is still going through divorce proceedings, who's currently over in Dubai with him. Christopher's living in a $20 million apartment in Dubai. He's got 2 apartments in Dubai. Spent $1 million on the girlfriend in the last 12 months. His 8th girlfriend in the last 2 years. This guy has now literally stuffed your life. If you thought that Christopher was such a good guy and you've decided that the peer pressure of people like Tomo, who have told you guys to stay in the brotherhood, you have been duped. You're stupid. Some people have already been brave enough to step away from Goliath Ventures. Good on you. But you need to reach out to me. You need to say, Danny, I don't like you. I hate your videos. They exposed me. They make me feel guilty. Well, I'm not going to do it. Yesterday, I had a lady ring me up and she said, I've just sent you a long email. I'm 68 years of age. I'm a leader. And I said to her, what is a leader? And she said, I recruit people. I said, you recruit people for what? And she said, I've been promoting CR Global. She's just given me her name, her phone number. And I said, and what have you been recruiting them into? And it was a Ponzi scam where she had to log in twice to this app and copy and paste some text. And because she did that, she was getting like 100% return per month. And then every time she recruited somebody, she was getting a commission. And on the app, she was rich. Now, this lady tells me 41 people she's recruited into it. She said, I don't want my money. I don't want my money. I just want to get out of this, she says. And I go, I hear you. And I said, why? It's all about your family, isn't it? You have recruited your family and your friends because these opportunities aren't just about making money. People like Christopher is after the money, but a lot of family people, firemen, policemen, they have all lost money because they've lost friendships. They have destroyed friendships. And the longer you sit here waiting for something to happen, I promise you, things are happening. I can't get people indicted any faster than we're working. people I work with are too scared to give me any information, maybe concerned that I might broadcast it. Who am I working for? I'm working for the investors. I hate people who promote this shit. I hate people who don't do due diligence. Who the F do you think you are, taking $100,000 from someone who's mortgaged their house on a handshake? You've taken that money and you've sent it to Goliath Ventures Inc. Goliath Ventures Inc. then divvies up that money and spreads it around the other partners in the company and moves the liability by telling these individuals to pay their investors through their own company to move the liability. I mean, this is unheard of. And you think Christopher is still a good guy? Have you got any proof of where he's been generating money from? You haven't. And if anybody was going to find any proof of liquidity, of money coming in from Goliath Ventures Inc., it would be me and my Avengers. I would have spent excess of 1,000 hours with my Avengers researching in the intel. I was interviewed by somebody big yesterday, and they asked me, how many Avengers have I got? And I said, it grows every day. And I said, you might be wondering the same questions. What qualifies an Avenger? Well, first of all, you don't have a life. Danny says, I'm going live in an hour and I still don't know the answer to this question. Can someone help me find it? And I sent it out to 5 or 6 people I know that I can trust. And amazingly, it comes back. I put it into AI and I asked AI to cross-reference other references of this person's name and their activities, and it comes out and it tells me. It's amazing. I have a thread of about 50, maybe even 100 different, because I've done 26 blogs exposing Goliath Ventures. Every time I get asked a question, I go to the blog that most matches the question and I go and find the historical background and I find the answer. I verify it. I give it out. People are now reaching out to me. And these are people that hated me are now wanting my help. I'm here for you. I don't care if Nick Petrello rings me up and says, I want your help. I want to do the right thing. I want to be a whistleblower. We've done a video begging Nick to do the right thing. Christopher rings me, different matter. But anybody that wants to reach out to me, I'm easy to find, theheck.com. Reach out to me and we'll do something about it. I think I've done my dash. I think we've covered this Goliath Ventures thing pretty cool. We're always looking for new intel. We're always looking for the facts to get our information right. Like I'm just reading a comment here for Susie, and I'll just put it across the top. Second mortgages on people's houses, reverse mortgages, retirement funds. We don't have them in New Zealand, but is it 401k retirement funds? These people went after the retirement money. That's why not Black Rock, which they pass off names. So if you go to myblackblock.com, you'll find Matt Burke is the founder of that company. And then they also, Pierce Curry, who's put everything into Goliath Ventures, apparently meant to be buying a new house and was going to do his first withdrawal. Until then, he's been compounding, which means basically losing all his money. And he's also going to be building a house. So these, lost my train of thought there, but these individuals, I have literally lost my train of thought. These guys have been telling people to invest. They have been, that's right. So mymdwealth.com was set up to go after the retirement money. These guys I mean, Matt Burke, Pierce Curry claim to be registered financial gurus, and they're not. They have no registration, nothing public, no fintech registrations, nothing. They're just individuals. They might have been at one stage, but they aren't now. We couldn't find any proof that these guys are registered financial advisors or chartered accountants or even. So they've been telling everybody, they've been going after retirement money. Come on, guys, help us. This is crazy. Let's get into it. Let's not muck around and let these guys enjoy their Christmas, enjoy their New Year's, drive their swanky cars when there's no proof of any money any time. Even if you've invested in here and you've been getting your dividends, or you're watching your app and you're thinking, look how much money I've got now. Think about what I've just done today. We haven't got any proof of any income streams other than running a straight Ponzi scheme and scam. I'm Danny DeHeck, and thank you for watching my video, and we'll see you next year. Well, how many more people have got to go? I've got to work that out, don't I? How many people have we got to go? Let's think. It's 2:00 now. I think it's, not quite there. Yep, as Susie's just said in the chat room, no registration, no FinAra, SEC, zero nata. I'm going to put that on the screen before I go. There's no registration, absolutely nothing. Oh, it looks really tiny on the screen. Maybe I need to open that up, make that a bit bigger. Can I make that bigger? Edit the text. Can I make it bigger? How do I make it bigger? I'm trying to make the font bigger. Oh, they've updated things here. Oh, maybe I can. Oh, let's have a look. We'll go to 18. Oh, that's going to look big. That's what big. There we go. Now you can read it. It's on the screen. Yeah, they don't have anything. Oh, it's such a sad story. I mean, I just, I don't know if I need to reiterate what we've done. I think I better actually. So we've done 26 blogs, 26 videos, and as somebody said to me the other day, I can't catch up by watching all your videos, but I wish you did. So first of all, we looked at your contracts. That was the first video. Absolutely crap. No compliance. They said that we were trying to run a smear campaign for whatever reason. The bookkeeper, well, she basically closed down her business on the 2nd of September, and now we find out that Nadia Bringus actually works for Harry Samuels, which is a joke. They said they had a fake audit, which was Matt Burke, doesn't exist, and claim he was independent, but now Black Block's meant to be part of Goliath Ventures. Don't know what's happening there. As Susie just outlined, no FinCEN registration, no registration to handle money at all. We're talking about clawbacks. What happens if you got my money out and you think you can just sit here quietly? And also, the contracts that you have now, they shut down the company. Would those contracts still be void? No. And then we, funny enough, the video that we just got a copyright strike on was what a real fund looks like. And here, there must be something in it that we don't know, but that's the video there. And apparently this video has been, Chris wants this video offline. I don't know why, but for some reason he wants this video offline. As you can see, it's online now. But this video was, oh, maybe it was this part here where Christopher's dancing. Can we got sound on that? No. But here's Christopher dancing in a nightclub, spraying cold ice over everybody. Some reason they don't want that video online. Okay, so whatever. Who's still profiting from Goliath Ventures? So the people that are getting all the money when they're spending it like it's water. We've got photos of Kalpesh, Cash Patel, Ron DeSantis, Andrew Tate, Eric Trump, Michael Johnson, all photos with Goliath and the boys. Then they tried suing me, even though I'm based in New Zealand, which is a dumb move. I think the main reason they're doing the suing is to run people scared from speaking out. They even asked for my ChatGPT search Meditech data, naming all the searches that they think that they have intel on, which is ridiculous. But anyway, they don't think OpenAI is going to hand over my ChatGPT data. I've got nothing to hide anyway, so that would be a bit of a laugh. As I said, 3 copyright strikes. Well, I might need to increase that to 4 copyright strikes from Goliath. And as I said, I think this is my 10th copyright strike. I haven't done anything wrong. They're just doing fake copyright strikes against my YouTube channel, trying to shut me down. It doesn't work if you know what you're doing. Crypto crashed. They lost $380 billion in a day. And Christopher held a alleged 45-minute webinar, which turned into be a 12-minute webinar. And to calm the farm, and he said that everything's okay. Don't worry, we've got insurance, probably. I don't know. But anyway, it didn't affect him at all. Of course it didn't, because he was running a Ponzi scheme. Out of politeness, we actually filed a 22-page motion to dismiss. If you are good on the filing system, go to Orange County Records and do a search for Danny DeHeck, and you'll see that motion to dismiss. We also received a bribe for $150,000 to shut up and take my videos down and write a Dear John letter. We weren't going to do that. And I will admit, they have actually negotiated with me since then, and they actually hired an investigation company to find me, and we had a face-to-face meeting, and they actually offered me more. They were going to offer me a better deal than the $150,000. I walked them off the property, so to speak. But that was quite intimidating. So we've got a video of that, which we haven't released yet, and also that has instigated the New Zealand police to get involved because of threat for life, which is quite, and I've already had a threat for life from one of them. So we've got things coming, which we will show you at a later stage when this all unfolds. So we showed you what a real whistleblower company actually looked like. Sorry, we showed you what a real... we had a whistleblower come forward to us, basically making sure his investment was safe and he got away with the money. And I said, that's not a whistleblower. That's not, what do they call that word? That is a... Opportunist. The bank, we managed to shut down one of their banks. They talked about how they were switching banks because the Bank of America couldn't keep up with the growth of Goliath Ventures. Yes, you heard it here first. They used to be with JP Morgan, and then they transferred themselves to, what do you call that thing? Bank of America. But there's two Bank of America accounts. I will take the credit for at least one of them. The other one we did actually have, we looked at, they used our blogs to shut down these accounts. They used my information to look at this accounts. They have to act, and they closed two Bank of America bank accounts down. Then we looked at Steve Davis. We've shown that photo quite a few times. And because I can't help it, I think this is quite funny. Steve Davis was gloating about how wonderful he was. And just take a quick look at that picture there. If you look at this video here, you will actually see this is the Steve Davis Business Insider. And if you go to the Business Insider sponsored article that he paid for, it has since been removed, I think. And, it's back. Nope, it's temporarily unavailable. We wrote to the newspaper and said, how can you publish such lies? Do you not know the truth about Steve Davis? And that article has now been removed. So that was quite funny. But Steve Davis, unfortunately, was a hero fireman who used his community network powers to get a whole lot of firemen to mortgage their house up to the hills. And unfortunately, they would have lost that money now. So then we found out that Goliath Ventures was paying out their romantic connections. Basically, in October, some people were getting paid out. In November, only the partners were getting paid out, and only some of them. And then in December, no one gets paid. However, let's hold a $5 million Christmas party instead, which is absolutely wicked. Andrew Tate. Now, a reporter I was talking to yesterday did not know that this video existed. He was amazed, and he couldn't believe that this video existed. Now, this is a Andrew Tate War Room advert, and it talks about they've got 3 cruise ships, and there's 50 men on here. They're in this club called the War Room. Now, the War Room's purpose is exclusive men's club where they get coached by people like Tomo. Tomo did a post on his, which has been removed now, a post on his Instagram claiming that he was one of 33 people that had the privilege of speaking at Andrew Tate's events. And as you can see, it looks pretty swanky. This is Croatia, I believe. But as we went through this video, now this is really weird. This video landed, and within 24 to 48 hours, it had $1.2 million views. And 2 months later, so this was posted on the 27th of September, and now it has only had, it has had 1.3 million views. So don't believe the hype of these people's social media, because I believe that he pays to get the views. And if he pays to get the views, that would explain the 1.2 million views that happened in 48 hours. But mathematically, why would this one video now only have 100,000 views for the next 2 months? Now, I don't know if you missed it. So here, I'll just...
platform is a network, which
Now, what we're trying to do here without the music, if you come back here, you can see Christopher. Hold up. I think I know where it's 13. I've got to get the right. 14. So we went through this frame by frame, and when all these men are sitting here, there we are here. So that's Tomo, and that's Christopher, and also Mike is sitting there in the background as well. So that's the only thing that we saw with Christopher in it, except for when he was going around in circles, probably like he's doing now. I think he was going around in circles. But yeah, let's watch Christopher go around in circles. I can tell by his blonde hair. There he was there, and there he was. He's got blue shorts on. That's Christopher. And then he's gone under the water. What a shame he come back up again, eh? And that was a nice looking bottom, just saying. And some more like, there he is. And there's Christopher doing donuts on the jet ski. But the purpose of that there was showing you now, Andrew Tate is one of the worst traders in the world, theoretically, I've heard, not that I'm into crypto, but he was doing liquidity trading, and he lost $1 million. And what I believe is that if there was any money being used in crypto, I believe that Christopher, who's got total control of everyone's money in Goliath Ventures, because remember that's what he said in the video a year ago, he's probably tried liquidity trading. And it's all good when any crypto is going up, but when crypto goes down, you lose everything. And there was a documented story here. Andrew Tate lost $1 million in a heartbeat that he'll never get back because he was doing liquidity trading. So I believe at that time, which was October, Christopher lost all the money. And then in November, he thought he could just carry on doing what he's doing and try to trade his way out of it. Then December, he already had the Christmas party booked, and he had all this wanky invitations going out, the James Bond Royal Gala event, and then everything's just gone to mush. And now he's ran to the hills. He's living in Dubai, and all the investors, well, not the investors, well, the investors aren't getting paid, but the partners are basically left holding the bag. And just to add a wee twist in that, Andrew Tate wanted to know how Christopher was generating the returns he wanted, because Andrew Tate loves money. Christopher wouldn't tell him. So what happened? All the Goliath boys are now thrown out of Andrew Tate's war room. Yes, crazy. Anyway, that's just a little bit of useless information, which isn't really useless, but it's interesting. And then we found that Canadians were getting 8% offers, 8% return per month offers if they invested with fresh money. Incredible. Tomo, the Brotherhood, the Goliath Strong hashtag campaign. How did that work out for you, Tomo? Rapidly unfolding financial collapse. Here, this was the claim on the 3rd of December, Christopher put out a newsletter basically telling everyone that was worried about going to the Christmas party that everything's going to be back to normal on the 15th and 18th of December. The Christmas party was on the 12th. That was a load of bullshit we've found out, and no payouts that we heard of except one. Now, that's what I'm going to go back to. On the 10th of December, an investor who had invested over 12 months got his initial investment back and all the dividends back on the 10th of December. So some money's still left. Some people are still getting paid. If you don't fire start this and do something about it, any money that's left that's not getting hidden in crypto or off to secret things that similar to what Andrew Tate does, all this money that's left is going to disappear. All the assets that you see Christopher who spent money like it's water on are all going to disappear. We have been told, and I haven't verified this, that the 5 houses that he's bought in Florida are all back on the market. Now, if that's the case, is this the way a legitimate company operates? If you are a real estate realtor and you can verify, we'll give you all the addresses and help find these houses that he's purchased. If they're back on the market, you know the game is definitely up. Why has he moved to Dubai? Christopher's the one behind all this. Nick, highly associated, you know. But anyway, broken promises, vanished transparency, accountability looms. 25 was the deleted video that we did a video on, and then today's video is here, which I've got to add, this article. So look, we do open source intelligence, we scrounge around the internet, we find claims, we find videos, we snoop through everything that people put online. To be honest, I don't know why people have Instagram who are running criminal networks, just saying. But anyway, we also get whistleblower testimonials. This was a whistleblower testimonial. We tried to verify everything that we heard. We even sent emails out to people, and we really, really tried hard to give you as much information as possible at this time of year when you're meant to be looking for your future. How to report Goliath Ventures Inc. and take action if you've lost your money. Click on that button. It will take you to an article. You'll see a lovely Danny DeHeck standing there all ready to fill out a form, looking a bit not sure what to do. But down here, we've broken down every step of what you need to do. We've also given you links to the Wyoming registration details. You click here, and also the Florida registration details. Click here, and you can see the company numbers of the two companies that he's registered. Down here, you've got evidence, things that you'll need to do, put together if you've got it, timelines, personal impact story. ChatGPT will help you write one of those. If not, reach out to me. We're here to help you. Additional details, how you paid, how they transferred, all those sort of things. How to report in Wyoming. Look, you need to do this. There's a form. You can download a PDF. You can fill it out to your heart's content, and then they tell you where to email that to. It's not rocket science, ladies and gentlemen. Here's all there's 5 email addresses. Just send it to all of them. Download the complaints form. Then email that to Wyoming. If you can, we really, really can't stress this enough. You need to do something. Sitting on your hands and crying about it isn't going to cut the mustard. I'm Danny DeHeck, and I'd like to thank you. I'll read the last comment. What's happening with the office? I wondered if the contractors are finished work. Have they been paid? Yes, so we did have now you've done it, Susie. People are thinking Danny's finishing twice now. I've done that. If we come here and we go to here, I'm actually not sure if I've actually got that video. I have. Look at this video
It'll
here.
be a massive year for us. We have a proven method and model that's been tried and true through some of the biggest crypto collapses in the industry, bigger than the stock market. So for us, we've gone through every battle. We've won every war. We invested $8.5 million in downtown Orlando, purchasing almost 13,000 square feet in the Chase building. And we're excited because it's going to be a hub, not only for our partners to come and enjoy and be with the team, but we're excited to open up part of the office to our different stem cell partners that we're going to be partnering with, or entrepreneur partners. We're in talks with UCF right now to build an entrepreneurship program there, which will just drive further community.
So we've actually put together an information request to UCF and asked them whether they actually are talking to Christopher, because we think he's full of shit, and we know he is. We've also even been in contact with the previous owner of the Chase building and the deal. There was, at the time, 50 car parks available. Chris only took 25 of them, so we wouldn't know that unless that's true. And also that deal that we did a whole video on it, that deal was actually ages ago. And also the decorator guy, he was under contract to finish his design for Goliath Ventures, and now he doesn't want anything to do with the company and future endeavors. He put that in an email to us. So here's Christopher publishing this video. Now this video was only online for 4 hours, and then he took it offline, and we managed to nab it and put it back out there. So what's going on?
Impact, and something that speaks to my heart. So we're really excited about our new global HQ, and we're going into 2026 with a crypto-friendly administration. This will be a massive year for us.
Right, so you notice a couple of things in there that we scrutinize. At the end, this video here, they show pictures of what was at the event. So this video has recently been put together, and at the very end, they put this political tone, Eric and Donald Trump in there like they're protected. This can be taken. I did a whole breakdown on this one video, but we've left it online. But it's absolutely disgusting. Right, now there is something cool. Now there is a friend of the channel. She actually is called Queen of Karma. She specializes on cults and MLMs. She just sent me a message basically saying that she's going to go live in about half an hour, which I will actually go grab a glass of wine and I will join you. So this is Queen of Karma's channel, and we go to the live section. She was live, and this is Naysayers, and this is Queen of Karma's live. So we're going to put that in the chat room. If you guys want to subscribe to her channel. I'll give you a little bit more intel on her. If you click on blogs and you click on anti-MLM and cults, you'll find a whole array of, what am I trying to say, of articles that have been published by Queen of Karma. And most of them are to do with multi-level marketing. She's even done one on Patrick Ben David. And we've got some fantastic articles that have been published on my website with her brand. So do check out her YouTube channel and get work and fill out those forms. We're not your enemy, we're your friend. So we really want to help any investors who's sort of feeling like their life is shit. Reason I first got into doing this is somebody tried to pitch me into a multi-level marketing opportunity. I don't own my own house. I don't have any wealth. But this person told me that if I invest in an opportunity that was going to be presented at some seminar in my hometown that they would pick me up for, they wouldn't tell me the name of it, that I would have enough money to buy myself a house in a very short period. That's what they told me. I investigated. I did my first video. I did about 130 videos. I actually got interviewed by the New York Times. They interviewed me over 4 or 5 hours, and I got to be in a 2-page spread of the New York Times. They nicknamed me the Crypto Ponzi Scheme Avenger, and I was here exposing Ponzi schemes and large-scale scams, or large-scale Ponzi schemes and scams. And then I got approached by 2 whistleblower companies that said that they would fight every legal battle I ever had if I needed help, and they would take half the reward money that you get when you expose large-scale Ponzi schemes and scams. And I said, what reward money? So the IRS have this thing where if I actually manage to save somebody $100 million, the IRS will give me they give me $300,000 of that money as a reward. And I didn't know anything about it. But this lawyer company said that they would help me. They would take half that money, but they would fight all my legal battles. I declined. I'm not here for the money, even though there is some money on the table if you do recover. But my point of telling you that is that my Avengers aren't here for the money. I've been offered $150,000 from Goliath Ventures to take down my videos and stop talking about them and write a Dear John letter. They come back and offer me a better deal, which I wouldn't entertain. I didn't want to hear it. La, 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 la. I don't want to hear your stupid deal. Go shove it up your ass, as I literally told the guy, and get out of my face. They stalked my property. They had surveillance outside where I live, trying to find out where I were. So this is what these guys have done. And this is the dirty, disgusting individuals. My point of telling you about the, when I first started busting scams, one company rang me up. They've been watching one scam, and 11 people had died by suicide in this one scam because they lost everything. They had mortgaged their houses up to the hill. Some of these people that Goliath Ventures have been going after are retirees, going after their 401k, 40k, whatever, their retirement funds. These people don't have an opportunity to get their money back. They go after their children. They go after their dads. They go after their brothers. They go after their sisters. They've got the whole family involved in this. And then they threaten them if they speak out to people like Danny DeHeck, because you're not allowed to talk about it. And then what will happen? A lot of these people will take these losses to their grave. Don't be that person. We're not going to criticize you. We're not going to expose you. I'm not going to tell your name. We've got like whistleblowers, and then we've got persons of interest. All the persons of interest aren't our friends as such. They're people that we've been monitoring. All the whistleblowers are in another area where we get this information, and we use this information to fight this bottom feeder. Christopher has got too big for his boots. I got no money. I don't make any money from doing my YouTube channel. And here I am. It's been Danny and Goliath, and a little boy with a slingshot's just taken down somebody who's got too big for their boots. Still some money on the table, I believe. I'm not here to help you recover your money, but you need to report it. We need some fire starters. Hey, are you going to be that match? I'll see you in the next video.